Hi, it's Mike here with the Saskatoon Public Library. It's another edition of Poetry Corner. Yeah, okay. So this is where I get out and about in Saskatoon and I read you some poetry. So right now, since we're Poetry Corner, I thought that I would take you close to a place that used to be known as Five Corners on Broadway Avenue. Maybe it still is. I don't know. I don't live here anymore and I don't hang out here. But I still like to come to Broadway because it is a fantastically beautiful place. Diverse architecture, wonderful businesses, and its own unique character. Here today I'm sitting on top of the it's like a pioneer monument, and so here I am. I hear birds singing. There's a river behind me, beautiful sky above, slightly overcast. But what more could you want in your beauty of a city than this? It's a great place to come for Labor Day, actually, and watch the fireworks in the evening. They do them on the river just over there. This is a high point. It's often away from the crowds. So as usual, forgive the traffic noise. And most importantly, don't forget, as I almost did, that we are here together today on Treaty 6 territory, which is traditional homeland of the Métis. I don't know how I could possibly forget when I'm insanely proud and pleased to be a treaty person and to be here on Treaty 6 today, of all days. I'm going to read to you from my Pelican Shakespeare, one of my beloved texts from university days. And while I probably don't need to remind you, all of Shakespeare is pretty much poetry written largely in iambic pentameter. There's lots of it that's more poetry, kind of poetry as we would recognize it. Sonnets. I'm going to read you some sonnets because it's a beautiful day and the birds are singing and I feel poetic. And it doesn't get more poetic than this. Sonnet number 2. When 40 winters shall besiege thy brow and dig deep trenches in thy beauty's field, thy youth's proud livery so gazed on now will be a tottered weed of small worth held. When being asked where all thy beauty lies, where all the treasure of thy lusty days, to say within thine own deep sunken eyes, were an all-eating shame and thriftless praise. How much more praise deserved thy beauty's use if thou couldst answer, this fair child of mine shall sum my count and make my old excuse, proving his beauty by succession thine. This were to be new made when thou art old, and see thy blood warm when thou feelst it cold. This sonnet clearly extols the virtues of a family group, and that's not always a comfortable thought for all of us, but let's think of family in a broader context. Maybe chosen family, or a family that doesn't fit the traditional views of what our society thinks of it right now, but in the future may become accepted. Sonnet 8. Music to hear, why hear'st thou music sadly? Sweets with sweets war not, joy delights in joy. Why lovest thou which thou receivest not gladly, or else receivest with pleasure thine annoy? If the true concord of well-tuned souls, by unions married, do offend thine ear, they do but sweetly chide thee, who confounds in singleness the parts that thou shouldst bear. Mark how one string, sweet husband, to another strikes each in each by mutual ordering, resembling sire and child and happy mother, who all in one pleasing note do sing, whose speechless song being many, seeming one, sings this to thee, thou'rt single, wilt prove none. Sonnet 18 is maybe one of the world's favorites, at least the first line or two, which you almost certainly know. But have you read the whole thing? And does the first line or two tell you the tale of the whole poem? I think it's one of the good reasons to come back and read these things over time is our perceptions of them change. Hi down there! How are you guys doing? So Sonnet 18. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate. Rough winds do shake the darling buds of May, and summer's lease hath all too short a date. Sometimes too hot the eye of heaven shines, and often his gold complexion dimmed. Every fair from fair sometimes declines, by chance or nature's changing course untrimmed. But thy eternal summer shall not fade, nor lose possession of that fair thou owest, nor shall death brag thou wanderest in his shade, when in eternal lines to time thou growest. So long as men can breathe, or eyes can see, so long lives this. This gives life to thee. The eternal nature of, at least in this case, successful poetry. Poetry that has stood the test of time does exactly what Shakespeare brags of at the end of this poem. It lives forever. All right, so on the theme of immortality, or what we would like people to think of us when we are dead, or in this case of Sonnet 71, not think of us. No longer mourn for me when I am dead, then you shall hear the surly sullen bell give warning to the world that I am fled from this vile world, with the vilest worms to dwell. Nay, if you read this line, remember not the hand that writ it, for I love you so that I in your sweet thoughts would be forgot, if thinking on me should make you woe. Oh, if, I say, you look upon this verse, do not so much as my poor name rehearse, but let your love even with my life decay, lest the wise world should look into your moan and mock you with me after I am gone. I kind of like that one. All right, we're going to have a go at sonnet number 94. As both a gardener and a human, I can approve this message that dedicated pursuit of honesty is a powerful thing. But to seek that and then do the opposite, well, that's pretty terrible. They that have power to hurt and will do none, that do not do the thing they most do show, who moving others are themselves as stone, unmoved cold and to temptation slow, they rightly do inherit heaven's graces, and husband nature's riches from expense. They are the lords and owners of their faces, others but stewards of their excellence. The summer's flower is to the summer sweet, though to itself it only live and die. But if that flower with base infection meet, the basest weed outbraves its dignity. For sweetest things turn sourest by their deeds. Lilies that fester smell far worse than weeds. I don't know if that's a warning to a lover not to betray him, or if it's a benediction to people who are rightly standing up and doing good things and good deeds. What does it mean to you? All right, it's getting a little bit windy up here. I'm going to try and read Sonnet 138, which is Shakespeare at his most confounding. 1 minute he extols truth, the next lies, and manages to justify them both beautifully. When my love swears that she is made of truth, I do believe her, though I know she lies, that she might think me some untutored youth, unlearned in the world's false subtleties. Thus, vainly thinking that she thinks me young, although she knows my days are past the best, simply I credit her false speaking tongue. On both sides thus is simple truth suppressed. But wherefore says she not, she is unjust? And wherefore say not I that I am old? Oh, love's best habit is in seeming trust, and age in love loves not to have years told. Therefore I lie with her, and she with me, and in our faults, by lies, we flattered be. You are the best audience I've ever had. All right, if you've ever read Sonnet 116, let me not to the marriage of true minds admit impediments. You might have heard of that at weddings, especially, times when you are pledging a vow. This, Sonnet 115, I find a little bit more interesting, maybe because it's not commonly read, and it takes a slightly different view. Take a listen. Sonnet 115. Those lines I before have writ do lie, even those that said I could not love you dearer. Yet then my judgment knew no reason why my most full flame should afterwards burn clearer. But reckoning time, whose millioned accidents creep in twixt vows and change decrees of kings, tan sacred beauty, blunt the sharpest intents, divert strong minds to the course of altering things. Alas, why fearing of time's tyranny, might I not then say, now I do love you best? When I was certain, or in certainty, crowning the present, doubting of the rest, love is a babe. Then might I not say so, to give full growth to that which still doth grow? You see, we can change our minds, because you know what? We're always changing people. We're individuals who time affects, and circumstance alters us. That's okay. Be altered, and be okay with being different tomorrow than you were today. Jeez, that was almost a rhyming couplet. Maybe we got to be done for now before I start speaking in poetry all the time. Anyway, thanks for joining me. This has been Poetry Corner. Corner. I'm Mike for the Saskatoon Public Library, and the day just got beautifully sunny over top of me, even though you can still see those clouds. So I think I got to go do some work in my garden, because it's always changing too. Bye.